And all I can say is, the sun is shining, the weather is sweet. Makes me want to move my 3D printing feet. Hi, I'm Steve from 1233D. Today we are going to be taking a look at the Two Trees SK1. We received this machine a few months ago. We've had time to extensively use it, test it, assess it, and we are overall quite impressed. First of all, I will go over a few key stats for this machine. So, we have an acclaimed maximum print speed of 700mm a second. However, I would suggest highly that we remain within the 300mm a second print speed to maintain quality, consistency, and all things good regarding 3D printing. The acceleration of the machine is acclaimed to be 20,000mm a second, pretty much a standard with all clipper-based machines. We have a build volume of 256mm cubed. So we have 256mm side to side, 256 front to back, 256 on the Z. The nozzle for this machine will reach a maximum print temperature of 300 degrees C and the bed will heat to 100 degrees C. The flow rate for this machine is 32mm cubed per second, which again is very, very high really in terms of 3D printers. But this will ensure that you do maintain a constant, consistent flow rate, even when printing at high speed. Win. Design and build quality. So, the build plate is a double-sided textured PEI flexible build plate. We have dual nozzle cooling. So basically, either side of the nozzle, the fan ducts direct air to the nozzle, helping cooling parts with steep overhangs and whatever else from both sides, which is another plus. The machine also has MGen linear rails pretty much on all axes, so that's on the extruder and on the Z. Really, really nice quality rails. They allow for fast, smooth, accurate motion in all directions. For a machine of this price point, that is a quite nice to have. We also have a side spool holder, so this will take standard rolls of filament. The way that the actual PTFE tube is mounted on the machine facing downwards, you don't necessarily have to use this. You can feed filament into this machine from a desk mounted spool holder. So if you want big spools of filament, plop them on your desk mount, feed it directly into the Bowden tube, to the extruder. Another win for the SK1. So as you can see currently, this machine is an open frame Core XY printer. For those people out there who want to print ABS, ASA, nylon, all things exotic, you can buy an enclosure kit for this machine. We will leave a link to this in the description for you to check out. It basically fully encloses the machine, including the lid, and you have a door as well. The frame is recessed with pre-tapped screw holes to allow easy fitting. It gives it a very, very nice, smooth, sleek, aesthetical look once the kit is fitted. It doesn't look like some bodged aftermarket add-on. It makes the machine look finished and polished and very, very high quality. We also have some spare pins on the motherboard. So basically this will allow you to map the board and allow for extra mods that you might want to add to this machine. As it does run Clipper, you can edit and adjust the config files to allow for these modifications. There will be nothing stopping the seasoned, experienced Clipper user making themselves an enraged carrot feeder, color changing unit, and adding it to this machine, because you do have the scope to be able to do those sorts of mods with this machine. You also have a very, very clever bed leveling method. Now for me, I've only ever seen this previously implemented on the Voron's Trident machine, but basically is Z-tilt. What that means, the bed Z-axis is operated via 3 independent stepper motors. It's not on a belt and pulley system like other machines. This allows the machine to basically independently move the bed in correlation to the nozzle to maintain an absolute flat parallel plane to the extruder. Win. We also have in this machine all metal hot end. For those people that want to print with higher temp filaments, an all metal hot end is an added advantage because you don't have to go and swap out anything in the extruder to allow you to print with those high temperature filaments. Another plus. We also have a dual geared direct drive extruder, pretty much a standard these days for most machines. This allows you to print with various materials including TPU, without any issues at all. It's just efficient, it works, it's solid, and it's reliable. There's another win. Assembly, as I've already briefly mentioned, assembly for this machine is minimal. You literally need to take the machine out of the box. The machine is all pre-assembled. You have to add the spool holder, the screen, the Wi-Fi antenna, and on the linear rails are some blocks fixed in place, basically stopping anything moving around in transit. Just turn the machine on, follow the calibration process, which is really easy. The bed is already pre-leveled from the factory, but again, if you want to run it for the amount of time it takes to do it, you might as well do it. Run the input shaping, and then you're pretty much good to go. Firmware and screen, etc. So we have a touchscreen display, a basic clipper-based UI interface with pretty much all of the things that you would expect to see on a clipper operating system. The screen is very responsive, it's full colour, easy to use, very easy to navigate, and pretty self-intuitive. For the beginner, with a simple understanding of what you want the machine to do and the processes of the machine, you will very easily be able to navigate around this UI and quickly pick up what does what and how to use it. It's quite intuitive. The firmware, clipper-based, fully open source. You can change your config files, your Moonraker files, whatever you want with this machine. It is not locked down to any proprietary software in any way, shape or form. Fully open sourced, just like it should be. The machine also has an accelerometer built into the extruder. This allows for input shaping and everything else that you would expect from a clipper-based machine. For those of you who aren't aware of what input shaping is, this is basically a chip that measures acceleration and vibration. It then calculates the amount of vibrations at given frequencies and then compensates for these vibrations in the firmware to allow for high-speed printing, maintaining good quality results. If you didn't have input shaping installed or implemented correctly on a machine, if you imagine your machine is printing full speed, causing the machine to vibrate, because filament at a point is a molten material, it would be like jelly. The vibrations cause the print to basically resonate, wobble at a certain speed. These then cool, set with those wobble marks in your print. Input shaping compensates for that and does a very good job of doing that. The firmware update for this machine I do not believe is currently supported via wireless update. However, that said, it's very simple to do. It's a case of you download the firmware from Two Trees, you then flash your screen. Once you flash your screen, you then flash the printer. We will leave a link to Two Trees video, link in the description. It's not hard to do. It might seem a little bit daunting, but overall it's a quite simple process. Once you've done it once, you'll see how easy it is and you'll be quite comfortable to do it again. We can remotely monitor the printer, provided we are on the same network as the printer, or we install a plugin so that we can remotely monitor it from a different device off the network. This is done through the slicer. Now, you can use different slicers for this machine. We initially started out with this machine on Prusa slicer, but now there are pre-configured profiles on Orca. Once you've typed in the IP address into Orca, you can then go to device and monitor remotely. You can also add to this machine a full HD AI camera to allow for that remote monitoring. Again, the link for this product will be in the description below, so please be sure to check that out as well. What can I say about this machine? Overall, I was really impressed by the build quality of the machine. The frame is solid. It is aluminium, decent chunky sections. Axes move, as I've already said, on MGN linear rails on the extruder axis and both sides of the Z-axis. The back of the Z-axis is driven by just the lead screw. All 3 points on are fitted with backlash nuts. Overall makes it for a very smooth, nice, solid platform. The machine's rigid. This is not going to flex in any way, shape or form while printing. We have done plenty of prints on this machine and every time been thoroughly impressed by the quality of the prints. We will show these prints on screen roundabout now. Everything is fitted with thread lock on the nuts. Nothing is going to vibrate loose. I had a quick look in the base of the machine when we first received it. It's very, very neatly put together. Everything appears to be high quality, well thought of. Slight downsides to the machine. If you do experience a clog, we all know that we need to get to the hot end or the extruder. To do that on this machine, that is a little bit of a challenge. The extruder is housed fully in a plastic cover, which splits in half, front half, back half. So you do need to remove those covers to be able to access what you need to access to remove the clog. The loading process for the machine and unloading process, as soon as you load filament in, there's a sensor inside here that picks up that you have loaded filament, and you will feel the filament instantly push through, and you keep repeating that until you see the filament oozing out of the nozzle. Unloading is exactly the same process. You go into the screen settings, you click unload, the extruder will heat the filament, it'll then remove the filament from the extruder to the point that you can then take it fully out of the Bowden tube. It's quite simple. You've got no messing around with locking levers or anything like that on the extruder itself. The bed leveling for the machine, again, is another plus for me. So this uses an actual sensor, not a probe. So it's not like a limit switch or anything else. It is basically a magnetic sensor that will give you really, really accurate bed leveling meshes. This same technology has been used on Voron machines or whatever else for a long, long time. It provides really, really consistent, accurate results. A lot better than the likes of a BL Touch or a CR Touch probe. This is overall a better system. Less moving parts, less to go wrong, more accurate, more consistent, more reliable. The stepper motors on the machine. The machine's fitted with really decent sized stepper motors, to be fair. Probably overkill in this instance for a machine that is only a 3D printer, because effectively there is not much load on these, but it's nice to see that they've used quality components throughout. They've not skimped on anything, they haven't cut any corners. And one thing that I was quite struck by when I first looked at this machine is, how have they made this machine for this price? They haven't skimped, they've thought this machine out, a good long-term solid workhorse. Now, who would I recommend this printer for? Because of the size, it is basically an accessible machine to anybody. So whether it be a home user, a hobbyist, if a business was to want to start a print farm, this would definitely be a worthwhile consideration. Because honestly, throughout all of the machines that I've used and tested, the quality of the prints off this machine are equally on par with other leading brand competitors. I was thoroughly impressed by the print results this machine produced. Straight off the bat, no tuning, no tweaking, no nothing else. Default profiles, sent a file to it, printed it, perfect. That pretty much summarizes the Two Trees SK1. If you have any questions regarding this machine or you want any further information, please do not forget to drop them in the comments box below, and I will do my best to come back to you as quickly as possible. And if you haven't done so already, please do not forget to like, subscribe and share. Links for this product and all the other products that I have mentioned in this video will be linked down in the description, so be sure to check those out. I look forward to seeing you all again. Goodbye for now.
As always, we aim to have the most competitive 3D printer prices on the market. If you see any of our printers being sold by a mainstream retailer for less, please drop us an email using the link in the description and we'll do our very best to beat their price. Also, if you're watching from outside the UK, check the description for links to our European 123 3D sister stores.